Hi there. I was asked to tell you a little about my research. So here it is. Um, my name is Mike Nielsen. I'm at Georgia Southern University and I study mostly psychology and religion. My background is in social psychology, which means most of my graduate work was focused on how people perceive one another, the kinds of factors that go into group interactions, attitudes, and helping pro-social behavior, those kinds of things. Um, I, when I was starting out, I couldn't decide between studying those kinds of things and studying clinical psych, and I opted to go this direction, and I'm glad because it's been really interesting. Um, One of the things I like most about it is it gives me a chance to do a couple different things at the same time. I study religious aspects of social life, and what that does is it helps me connect the broader context, um, the social context, with the individual context, the things that are happening internally, as well as the things that are happening outside, externally, from the person. And for me, that's a good place to be. Um, One of the things that happens in psychology and academia generally is people really get to be specialized so that they know a ton of things about a very small number of things. And I I'm much more interested in um, trying to tie together lots of different areas that people study. So, for example, some of my research is very psychological in nature. Um, I've had I've had projects where we've brought people into a lab and give them maybe a cognitive priming task so that they are exposed to certain information, maybe even subliminally, so that they see it flash on a screen just very quickly and they're not really aware of what it said. But we found that it actually impacts their behavior. Um, so, for example, in one study, a student and I, we did that kind of project, flashed words on a screen really, really fast. They couldn't tell us what the words were, but later they impacted their behavior in terms of how honest they were. So that's kind of cool. We replicated it with a supraliminal priming task as well, where they were aware of what the words were, but it was just part of some other thing that they were doing. Again, that influenced their behavior. So that's really fascinating and very psychological in nature. And then on the other hand, a lot of my research I do with some colleagues who are sociologists. They're all about large samples and group patterns that groups follow, that kind of thing. And for me, as a social psychologist, that's kind of the sweet spot. I want to know the big picture of what's going on, and I want to know really what is happening for the individual internally. I think the combination of those two is really important. Um, Another reason why I like the psychology of religion is it gives me a chance to keep up with psychology as a whole. You take something like religious belief or religious behavior, all kinds of things are relevant to that. Some researchers study consciousness, others study developmental trends with religious beliefs. Um, there are there are more biologically or physiologically oriented psychologists that study religious phenomena, brain scans of a person while they pray, that sort of thing. Um, Mental health and religion, lots of research about that. And by studying a topic like religion, I can see what psychology as a whole brings to that topic. And it reminds me of why I got interested in psychology in the first place. Um, I I was like a kid in a candy store when I took my intro to psych class a bazillion years ago, and it's studying religion in a psychological context is a way to help me really remember that enthusiasm and maintain it. Um, it's a really fascinating thing, and so there's a little of what I do. I hope this is helpful to you. Uh, Good luck with your journey in psychology. Bye bye.